Hey everyone, I'm Paul Slack with Vindy Digital, and I'm super excited for you to join us today. I do know there's a lot of ways that you could spend the next hour or so, and so I certainly do appreciate that you've chosen to spend it with us. Man, the digital landscape is moving fast right now, isn't it? I mean, with AI at its core, it seems like, one moment we're on top of the world, and the next moment we're scrambling just to keep up. I know that's how I felt when ChatGPT hit the scene less than 12 months ago. Certainly feel like I'm having a hard time keeping up. I'm sure you guys are as well. In fact, it's moving so fast that I bet some of the information in my presentation is going to be expired by the time that I'm done. One thing I do know for sure is that if we got in a time machine and fast forwarded to 12 months from now and look at where we are in the world of AI, it's going to feel very antiquated. And to try to put that into context, I was around back in the day when the internet became a thing for business, 20 plus years ago. And I had a great job, and I actually left that job and got into digital marketing because I could just see how transformative the internet was going to be for business. I really saw it as a 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week salesperson, and I wanted to help B2B companies take advantage of that. And so for those of you that were around back then and can remember what the world was like, before the internet and where we are today, it's completely different. The internet absolutely transformed the world forever, transformed marketing forever, transformed business forever. Truly the most transformative thing in my lifetime. And you can see on this chart, it still took 4 years for the internet to go from 0 to 100 million users. 4 years. Now, how long do you think it took ChatGPT to get there? Obviously less than 4 years, right? It's not even a year old. But ChatGPT took only 2 months to get from 0 to 100 million users. That's how fast this thing is moving. And quite frankly, just like the internet changed the world forever, I would submit to you, I believe that the internet, or that rather AI, is going to change and be just as transformative, if not more, to the world forever. One of the challenges, though, with AI is it's kind of a double-edged sword, isn't it? On one hand, it's a big unlock for businesses and opportunity, but on the other hand, isn't it reaping havoc, all kinds of havoc in our business? And that's really one of the struggles that we're having and what we're going to try to talk about today. On one hand, AI absolutely is transforming the way that we communicate, the way that we market, and the way that we grow our businesses. It really is an ocean of opportunity out there, but without the right navigation, it can create a lot of overwhelm and even feel really chaotic to us. And, one of the things I want you to think about today is that, AI is like a ship. It can get us from point A to point B for sure. But in a ship, we still need a captain. That's you. We also need a crew. That's your team. And we need a map to make sure that we're going in the right direction. And so one of the key points I want to walk you through today is that if we're going to AI enable our businesses and AI enable marketing, yes, and absolutely, we need the right AI tools. And oh my gosh, there's new tools popping on the scene every single day. It's almost hard to keep up. Yes, we need the right tools. That's very important, but we need the right crew as well. That's going to be leadership. That's going to be your team. And you need to make sure your team is equipped and educated on how to extract the value out of these tools. But we need more than just the right tool and the right team. We also need a map. And that map is resources and processes that we can implement to really get AI enabled across the enterprise. And so when we think about how do we truly enable AI in our businesses, we need the right tools, we need the right people, and we need the right processes. And that's what we're going to talk about today. For the next 45 minutes or so, I'm going to walk you through and take you on a tour rather of some real practical, tactical ways that you can get AI enabled in your business so that you can get more things done faster, if you will, and really level up your marketing. And so that's what we're going to be talking about today. I've also got some great resources and some tools that I'll share with you as we go throughout the presentation that are going to help you get on top of AI as quickly as possible. So ultimately, our objective is pretty simple. We want you to walk away today with actionable insights and tools that are going to help you streamline, enhance, and elevate your marketing efforts using AI. Now, before I get too far ahead of myself, I do want to introduce you to Andrea. Andrea is going to be manning chat for me today because with the way we're doing YouTube Live, it's kind of hard for me to do that in the studio. So she's there. If you haven't said hello to Andrea, please chat in. Hi, let us know where you're from. Let us know what you're having for lunch if you're grabbing lunch. That would be really cool. But she's going to be handling questions and really engaging with you guys throughout the presentation today. I do have some time set aside at the very end to get your questions answered. You guys also sent me in a bunch of questions, so I've got a few of those teed up at the very end. But please, let's have a good, lively conversation as we go through today. And to kind of get things kicked off, I'd love to just ask you a question and get you to answer this inside a chat. And that's simply this: what AI marketing tools or what are your biggest AI marketing challenges, rather, right now? So I'm guessing, based on the B2B marketers that I've been talking to, everybody's probably tried some AI tool or doing something with AI, and you probably run up against a wall or having some struggles. In 2 or 3 word answers, just let us know in chat. I'd love to know kind of where you're struggling or what you're finding is difficult about getting AI enabled in your business. That'd be great. Okay, also, one thing I just wanted to share with you, kind of a housekeeping thing. This webinar is really kind of the first part of a 4-part process that we're going to help you get your AI enabled in your marketing. So today we're going to walk you through this webinar. We're going to get your questions answered. We're going to point you in some good directions. And then the next part of this is really the resources, and I'm going to show you how to get those in just a second. But these are going to be those things like your map I was just talking about earlier to really get you on top of AI as quickly as possible. And so step 1 is today. Step 2 is these resources I'll point you to. And then step 3 is we invite you to have a one-on-one session with me. This is absolutely complimentary. And so once you've kind of gotten through today and learned some of the concepts we're going to share with you and some of the use cases I'll share with you, and you've played with the tools a little bit and resources, then I'd love to sit down with you and just help you think about how do you apply these concepts specifically to your business. Now, I've gone ahead and blocked off 10 meeting slots over the next 2 weeks. I do know there were over 400 people registered for today. And so if you know that you're going to want to meet with me, again, this is complimentary. There's no sales pitch here. I would go ahead and jump on that when you can. I'll show you how to do that in just a second. And then so part 4 is actually another session that we're going to do on November the 15th. We do these monthly Demand Gen Jam sessions. I'm sure a bunch of you guys watching today are from our monthly jam sessions. So if you are, a big shout out to you guys. Thanks for joining for the webinar today. But I would like to invite everybody that's listening in to come on November the 15th to our Demand Gen Jam session, where we're going to really go into use cases, and I'll do some real-time work with prompts and things like that. It'll be a great training opportunity for you. And so please plan on joining us on November the 15th. Now, we do Zoom instead of YouTube Live for those, and we only have 100 slots. So if you want to join, I do encourage you to jump in on that pretty early on. Quite frankly, there was just way too much information for me to cover in an hour. I was literally working with a teammate last night as late as like 4 or 5 o'clock, and I think we had over 200 slides. We were still trying to cut this thing down. So what we decided to do is let's give you guys some really good content today, but have you come back on November the 15th and join us for our Demand Gen Jam session. Now, how do you get to all this good stuff? Well, go to vendidigital.com/go. vendidigital.com/go. You'll see this page right here. And if you want to schedule some time with me, there's a button right there above the fold, a big orange button. Just click on that. It'll literally take you right to my calendar. Like I said, I have like 10 slots available over the next 2 weeks, so feel free to grab one of those. If you scroll to the second half of the page, you're going to see all the resources that I'll be talking about throughout the presentation today, and you can literally download those. And oh, almost forgot. I almost always do forget when I do these webinars. We always get asked, hey, are Paul's slides going to be available? Absolutely, they're available. You can grab them right there below the fold. If you want to go ahead and do that now, that's fine. Just go to vendidigital.com/go, and you'll get the slides and all the other materials. So let's take a look at these. I will bring these back in as we go through the presentation today, but I want to give you an overview of what these resources are. The first one, and probably the most important, they're all valuable, but this is one I think you're going to really like. It is our playbook. It's our AI-enabled CMO playbook. It's 24 pages long. It's got a lot of great resources that are going to help you think through the process to truly enable AI in your marketing. What I feel like where most B2B marketers are right now is they haven't fully enabled AI. What they're doing is they're users. They're trying things out, which is fine. But to truly enable it in your marketing, you need a playbook. And I think this playbook is going to help you a lot. There's 3 sections to the playbook. There's a roadmap, a 12-step roadmap that'll really kind of go into a deep dive on what you need to do to get from where you are today to fully enabled. And so you'll want to check that out. And then we've got a couple of really cool checklists. The first checklist is a readiness checklist. And so you'll be able to go through there. There's several questions, and you'll be able to assess how ready you are to get AI going in your enterprise and in your marketing department. And when you fill that out, you'll really get a sense of, where are the gaps and things you might need to shore up before you take a deep dive, try to jump off the deep end, if you will, of AI enablement. And certainly, definitely everybody needs to be playing with the tools, but what I'm talking about is really getting it into your organization. And then the third part is a use case checklist. And so one thing when I talk to B2B marketers that they're telling me is that they're primarily using it for content and things like that. But there's a lot of great ways that you can use AI and get it enabled in your marketing. And so I think there's like 49 or 50 different ways that you can kind of go through and check and see and prioritize which ones you want to take advantage of. So that's the playbook. The next tool I think you're going to love, it's a toolkit. And the toolkit, just like you think about a toolkit, it's when you're ready to roll up your sleeves and get busy. Now, this is a Notion document. So when you click on the link, it'll take you over to Notion. You can make a copy of it and make it your own. That's totally fine. But the reason we are delivering this to you as a Notion document and not a PDF is that we plan on continuing to update this literally every single week. So for example, one of the things that's in there is a prompt library. So as we try new prompts specifically around B2B, all of our clients are B2B companies, and we find something and we find an unlock that's working, we're going to document that prompt and put it inside that Notion guide. So yes, make a copy of it if you want. That's completely up to you. But I would definitely check back on the one that we're providing in the Resource Center because it's going to get updated very often. And here's an example of what one of those prompts might look like. So step-by-step instructions, screenshots, things like that to really help you take advantage of AI. And then the last tool or resource that we've made available for you is this prompt engineering guide. We've got this saying, garbage in, garbage out. Man, that could not be farther from the truth, or I guess as 100% true, rather. That's probably the better way to say it. In the world of AI, if we don't ask the right questions and we don't provide the right information to these generative AI tools, we're not going to get very good information out. And so we've got a great guide for you that's got what's called the RACE framework on the way to basically build out your prompt. And then we've even got best practices and a use case so that you can see exactly how to implement that. So if you've struggled with, writing or asking ChatGPT or any of the other generative AI tools, the right questions to get the right information or give it the right instructions to get the right information back, that's going to really help you a lot. So take advantage of those. They're at vendidigital.com/go. You can grab them now. They'll still be available even after the webinar today. So to switch gears a little bit and to help me get ready for the presentation today, I did put a poll out on LinkedIn a couple of weeks ago where I just simply asked the question, where have you basically gotten the most benefit from AI in your marketing? And I wasn't really that surprised in the response that I got back. As you can see right here, most B2B marketers are using AI today for content development or content creation or content ideation. And that's great. Those are certainly good uses of AI. But I was really surprised to see the bottom two. So personalization, which I think is a huge opportunity in the world of AI, and data analysis are areas that most B2B marketers really aren't taking advantage of. And there's huge opportunities there. In fact, I'm going to show you some use cases today. So one of the reasons why I think B2B marketers haven't gotten any farther into AI enablement is, quite frankly, we're all busy, right? We're all struggling to do AI because our plates are already full. We're spinning a lot of plates right now In fact, if we just look at our go-to-market that we're trying to, implement without AI, there's more that we'd like to do than we even have time to do. And so now here's this new thing called AI. Our boss is asking about it. We got to go figure it out. And so everybody's just struggling to do their day-to-day work in the crazy world that we've had with this uncertain economy. A lot of us are even being asked to do more with less. And so who's got time to really look at AI? So I absolutely get it. In fact, this next data point, or these next two data points, really drive this point home. This is some brand new data from the Marketing AI Institute, and it's their 2023 report on the state of AI in marketing. And there were two really, I thought, very telling data points. You can see them right here behind me. Number one is that 64% of marketers absolutely believe that AI is critical to their success in 2024. Nearly 70%, right? But look at the stat right below it. So more people are saying, even though they know that they need to be doing AI in 2024, they feel like they lack the expertise to implement an AI-driven marketing solution in their business. So I can feel the tension. Can you feel the tension? It's like, oh my gosh, we know we need to be doing AI, but we don't have the expertise or the resources in order to get it done. And that's the challenge that we're dealing with. And that's why we built these resources for you, including, the webinar today and the resources and the one-on-one and coming to the Demand Gen Jam session next month. I think all those things are going to help you feel much better about how to implement AI in your business in 2024. Another thing I just want to share with you is let's all just take a minute, take a deep breath, and realize that we're not that far behind. Nobody really knows what they're doing yet. I mean, here I am doing a webinar about AI in B2B marketing, and I'm telling you, I don't even know really what I'm doing yet, right? We're all trying to figure this stuff out together. That's one of the reasons why the AI toolkit is a Notion guide, because this stuff is changing as fast as this webinar is happening, right? And so we need to just take a deep breath, even if you feel like you haven't done anything, but play with ChatGPT and recognize nobody's really that far ahead of you. We're all kind of in this together, and we're kind of learning as we go. It's kind of like, what's that saying? Flying in a jet while we're building it at the same time. That's kind of what we're experiencing in the world of AI enablement and AI in marketing. All right, let's switch gears and start talking about, as we think about how do we get AI enabled in our business, there's a few things I want to share with you before I get into some use cases. Number one, we just got to get up to speed. So if you're a B2B marketing leader, the one thing that I would encourage you to do is just, get comfortable with some of the common AI tools that are out there today. Pick one of them and kind of invite it to everything that you do. Right now, really kind of phase one is all about just getting comfortable with the tools. And when you're using those tools, there's three things you really need to think about. What is it that they do? So what does this tool that I'm playing with really do? What are the different things that it can do for my business, right? How do I use it? Like, what are the things I need to know, like prompt engineering or integrations, things like that, really kind of get up under how to use it. And then most importantly, that third point, you need to understand how it uses your data. So when you're just getting started with AI, definitely understand how these tools are using and interacting with your data. I'm sure all of you have heard that, tools like generative tools like ChatGPT and even Claude, you do not, or Google Bard, you don't want to put your personal information in there. You don't want to put your client's information in there. And so be careful with how these tools use your data. So if you're just trying to get up to speed, and pick one tool, invite it to everything you do, really understand how to use it, and understand how it uses your data. Another thing you can do when you're trying to get up to speed with AI is just think about your go-to-market. So this is the Vindy Digital Demand Gen framework here. This is the work that we do when we bring on a new client to help them get their go-to-market up and running for their business. There's 4 pillars in the process, and I'm not going to go through that because that's not what today's webinar is all about. But what I wanted to do, and the reason I included this slide, is if you're a marketing leader and you're trying to figure out how do I AI enable my marketing department and you're getting up to speed, one of the first things you need to do is just look at your go-to-market and go, what are areas that I can invite AI to the things we're already doing today that might help me scale? Where do I have friction points that maybe I can overcome with AI? But how can I implement it in the areas that I'm already doing go-to-market today? And so one thing that we can do to help you with that is taking a look at the toolkit here. And we've got, you'll notice in the toolkit, this is that Notion guide again. It'll take you, when you click AI tools, it'll take you to a page that's literally got 40 plus tools that we've vetted for B2B marketing. And that list is obviously going to get bigger and bigger over time. But if you're looking for a tool to invite to the party, this would be a good place to go. So question for you, I'd love for you to chat with Andrea in the comments here. Let us know what tools you're using today, or maybe pick one. What is your favorite tool that you're using already and that you're starting to get some value with AI? I'd love for you to chat that. That'll, I think, benefit everybody that's on today. Maybe you're using a tool that somebody else hasn't thought about, but chat that in the comments. We'd love to see that. Okay, so we kind of started with step one, which is, just kind of getting up under AI as a business leader, marketing leader. The other thing that we need to be thinking about as we're getting ready to enable AI into our marketing department is building an infrastructure that will last, right? So we don't want to build a house of cards. We want to build a strong foundation. And so there's some key things to be thinking about there. And the playbook, by the way, is going to go deeper into this stuff, but I want to give you some high-level things to think about. Number one, you need to develop an AI council. That would be a group of people within your organization that are going to, explore AI. You're going to share knowledge. One thing I would encourage you about that AI council is that you want people outside of your department. So get some marketers in there for sure, get some customer service people in there, get some product people in there, possibly get some leadership in there as well. But you want to have a well-rounded view of AI, because AI is going to touch every part of our business, just like the internet does, not just marketing. So definitely get your CRO or VP of sales in there too, not to leave you guys out. All right, so if you take a look at our playbook, now this is the playbook. It's a PDF deliverable, that 24-page playbook I talked to you about earlier. One of the things you need to, try to get up under as you're building out your, infrastructure is really just, making sure your data is ready to go. And so, that's a big challenge and hurdle for a lot of companies. And so one thing that you can do is just go check out this data integrity checklist that we have. There's several questions there that'll help you think about, is my data really ready for AI? So be sure to check that out. Another thing that you're going to want to do is have an AI policy, and I recommend two policies. One is one for internal use, so this would be your team and everybody that's going to use AI tools to make sure that they're using it appropriately and not doing things they shouldn't be doing. The other type of AI policy would be a public-facing policy that you would actually put on your website. And so to, again, help you get on top of this stuff quickly, we've created a couple of templates for you. They're inside that AI toolkit, as I just mentioned. You can literally just copy and paste these. I obviously, you're going to want to tailor them to your business, but it's a good starting point for you. Okay, so we've talked about, how do you get started? What are the things you need to be thinking about to build the right infrastructure? And so the next thing you really should be thinking about is, how do I prioritize the things that I'm going to work on, initiatives that might go beyond just me playing with ChatGPT. And some things that I'd like you to think about are, where do you have roadblocks? What are things that are not getting done today? Things that you're struggling shipping today? One of the slides earlier, we talked about, there's so much you wish you could do, but you don't have time to do all the things that are already on your plate. Maybe you could look at some of those as areas that, you might want to try to prioritize for AI. Another thing you want to do is obviously explore use cases. What are the possibilities, with the tools that are out there today? And then how do I weave this into my workflow? Like, where are places that I can just make the workflow move a little bit better? And then ultimately look for places where you can leverage and scale. I mean, that's really what we want to do at this prioritization stage. And just as you might imagine, we have a great resource for you there. This is also in the playbook where we've got 49 marketing use cases that really follow our go-to-market strategy that I just shared with you. So there's use cases around planning, there's use cases around activating your audience, or staying top of mind. So be sure to check that out. And there's a way for you to prioritize things you want to take advantage of now, things you might want to do phase 2, and then things you're just going to put on the shelf. So be sure to check that out. Here's a pro tip. So as you're thinking about, what things I want to get started with and how do I prioritize, one thing that I advise marketers on all the time, or B2B marketers rather, is look for things that check a lot of boxes, right? So if I implement AI in this one area of my business, can I get multiple boxes checked that are going to provide lots of benefit? And so a great starting point, if you haven't thought about it, is going to your foundational, your long-form content, your very best content, the stuff that you absolutely love and that your customers and prospects love. take that long form, well-established content and repurpose it for different personas and different industries and build out content hubs on your website around those things. Because if you can do that, you've already got the content, it's already there. You did the blood, sweat, and tears to get that stuff written and created and shipped. So what if you took AI and had it help you repurpose that into these different content hubs? And if you do that, it's checking 4 really big boxes. Number one, it's helping you with ABM, right? Everybody's trying to do ABM these days, and there's a lot of reasons why you want to, because it's going to help you focus your marketing efforts on, a subset of customers instead of the total addressable market. So it's going to help you with ABM. It's going to help you with marketing automation. It's going to help you with demand generation, and ultimately, it's going to help you with SEO. And that's a big one, because in the world of SEO today, one thing that ChatGPT and AI has absolutely killed is all the how-to content that's out there, because it is super easy to generate that stuff. So if you can take your very best content and repurpose it into persona-driven content or very unique content that highlights your expertise, that's going to help you greatly with SEO. Another thing, when you're thinking about prioritizing where to get started on this stuff and how to get AI enabled in your marketing department, you could start with your stack. And so all of the MarTech players out there are doing major announcements on how they're using AI and how they're integrating, especially generative AI, into their processes. And when I say generative AI, I'm just talking about, like a ChatGPT experience where you can have a conversation basically with AI. And so, HubSpot and Salesforce, they're some of the biggest MarTech out there. Even in the last 6 to 8 weeks, they've made some very big announcements on AI. And so one of the things, if you're a marketing leader and you're thinking about how do I actually get AI enabled in my business, an easy starting point would be looking at your current stack, asking your vendors how are they leveraging AI, and start practicing with some of those tools that are out there. Now, we're a HubSpot partner, so I know a lot about what's going on in the world of HubSpot. And as you might imagine, HubSpot, and I'm sure this is true with Salesforce too, they've implemented AI and have used AI for a long, long time in their tool set. What's new for both of those tools and most of the MarTech that you'll get involved with is the generative AI part, being able to interact with it by talking to it. And so, yes, there's been AI out there for a while. This is the new part. And so HubSpot's generative AI tool is called ChatSpot, and I really like it because you don't have to be a paying HubSpot customer to actually use it and get benefit from it. I wanted to show you a couple of real quick use cases so you can see what I'm talking about. And I'm guessing there's a bunch of you that are HubSpot users right now, but when you get ChatSpot going in your business, if you are a HubSpot customer and you're using it for marketing automation, you can go and do things like this. Just simply ask it, how many leads have we generated in the last 6 weeks broken down by week? And what I love about that, it's going to spit out a report right in its answer. And so, as a marketing leader, I'm not going into HubSpot every single day. I hate hunting for those reports. I hate going and having to ask somebody to produce a report for me. I love the fact that I can just go to ChatSpot, ask it a question, and get exactly the data I want back instantly. So that's, if you're a HubSpot user, that's one of the cool things you can do with ChatSpot. But what if you're not? What if you just want to take advantage of it for your business and you're not a HubSpot paying customer, you're not using it for marketing automation? It's a great research tool. I'll show you an example here. I actually typed this in the other day. I just said, find B2B software companies with 100 to 500 employees with HubSpot installed. Now, as a B2B marketer, obviously I want to reach out to B2B software companies as prospects. We sell to the mid-market, so we love that 100 to 500 employee size. And I'd love, because we are a HubSpot partner, I'd love to talk to everybody that has HubSpot installed, because maybe we can help them. Check it out. So it literally, just in literally less than 5 seconds, it spit out exactly what I was looking for. And like I said, you don't have to be a HubSpot customer to get this kind of data. Now, if you are a HubSpot customer, what's really cool, it's got this button right here. You can see that on the screen, where I can add that account right into my HubSpot instance. And so those are some really cool tools that you can start playing with. Obviously they've added some other tools too, like helping you with content creation and image generation and even campaign generation. So I just wanted to give you a quick example of a way that you might be able to, start with your stack and just see how the things that you're already paying for might have some really cool AI features you can start playing with. Okay, let's switch gears a little bit. I just want to give you a little bit of a foundation. Again, the playbook's going to give you way more than that, but I wanted to get into some of the things that we're going to have to get good at if we're really going to get AI enabled in our business. And the very first thing we're going to absolutely have to get good at is training our robot. Because remember, very on at the beginning of this presentation, I said there's three core ingredients here, right? AI, people, tools and processes. And so AI by itself, it's just a raw material. It's like it's like Legos without an instruction set. It's like wood. It's not going to make anything unless you tell it to make something, and it's not going to make the right thing unless you tell it the right instructions so that you get the right output. And so I wanted to spend some time today just talking about how do we train our robot. And, I mentioned this already. Really, at the end of the day, it comes to garbage in, garbage out. Bad instructions, bad output. And so the reason why that's dangerous and the reason why we need to talk about it today is that if you do AI the wrong way and you don't have the right resources or processes or people, you can actually go backwards in your marketing, right? It can actually hurt you. And what I mean by that, if you look at that second point there, your customers and your prospects, when they look at content that looks like it was spit out and looks like generic content that anybody could generate, that's going to hurt your goodwill. They're not going to feel like you truly are a thought leader, and they're not really going to believe that you're a great company. And so don't just go, oh my gosh, AI is amazing. We can do 1,000 blogs a week now instead of one blog a week, and start throwing out generic content because you're asking generic things. That can actually hurt your business, not help your business. So the key ingredients to doing this the right way is actually seasoning AI with information about your customer, information about your business, information about the products and services that you have, and really your point of view and your positioning. That's what we mean by seasoning. And if you're using a Chat GPT or a Claude or a Bard or whatever your favorite generative AI tool is, you need to put this information into your instruction set. Talked about prompt engineering a little bit earlier. This would be part of that prompt engineering to really train it on who you are and what you're all about and who your customer is. And then the second part, obviously, is the prompt engineering, using that RACE framework that you can learn about in the guide to really give it the instructions in the right way so that you get better output. To really try to visualize this is kind of what's going on today. And when I hear B2B marketers tell me that AI can't produce good content, this is what they're doing. They're basically taking a prompt like, write a blog post about the power of content marketing. Wow, that's pretty broad, right? Without any information about my customer, who Vendy Digital is, or any of that stuff, right? And so if you go to ChatGPT or any of the tools out there and you put in a prompt like that, you're going to get blah, 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 boring, blah, 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 non-relevant content that your customers or prospects are going to see a mile away. And quite frankly, Google's going to see a mile away. They're not going to rank it, and it's actually not going to help your business at all. Okay, so what we have to do is actually create some really good seasoning documents. I'm going to walk you through how to do that so that you can train your robot to do the things you want it to do. So as you think about seasoning, it really comes down to brand positioning at the end of the day, right? Who is our customer? What are the problems that keep them awake at night? How does our solution become a bridge to where they are today and where they're trying to go as a business? How do we differentiate our business from all the other competitors that are out there? Those are the things that we really need to get really sharp on and clear on in our documentation if we're going to be successful in seasoning and training these AI tools. The other thing you need to understand is that not always do we want to be 100% on voice, right? There's times when we need to be 100% on voice, and there's times when we want to be less on voice. And so, you want to build seasoning documents, but you also need to understand, if I'm dealing with crisis communication, that's one thing. But look in the middle there. If I'm doing social media, do I really need to be as on brand, or can I have a slightly different, more casual tone to what I'm producing? And so the reason I share this with you is another challenge I see B2B companies have is they're asking the same things of ChatGPT or AI, whatever tool you're using, for all the different types of content or outputs that you're looking for, when the reality is you want to tweak that a little bit based on the type of content that you're creating or whatever it is you're producing. So a better scenario now looks like this, right? So we asked the same prompt, write a blog about the power of content marketing, but now we're putting in our brand voice, our style, our tone, knowledge about our business, our positioning, all those things. And now the output's going to be a much better blog that sounds like somebody at Vindy Digital actually wrote it. And so that's ultimately the goal. If we want to get good output from these AI tools, it has to almost become like an employee in the company that knows everything about your business, that your employees know about your business. And that's what seasoning is all about. Now, Jasper is a great tool that's out there. I don't know if you've played with it. I'm guessing most of you have probably heard of Jasper. They've actually been around longer than ChatGPT, but I really like Jasper for a couple of reasons. Number one, if you're not using a tool like Jasper and you're using, Bard or ChatGPT, all those other tools that are out there, every single time you do a prompt with those tools, for the most part, you're going to have to copy and paste a lot of information into that prompt in order for it to be trained up and give you the right output. What's cool about Jasper is you can actually plug that stuff right in. You can put all that information in there, so it's got your tone, your voice, your knowledge base. You can even have different tones for for social media versus blog versus website. So you can train it up on all those things, and it stays available. It remembers that stuff. Another thing about Jasper that I really like is that you can invite team members to your Jasper account. So one thing that really drives me crazy about some of the other tools is that everybody's got to have their own account. They can't really share the information. And one thing that you know about B2B marketing, it's a team effort, right? It's a team sport. There's multiple people touching a project that we're trying to get shipped out the door. And so Jasper's great because you train it up, and then you can have multiple users, and they can all be working on the same project, and they can all be pulling from that same knowledge base. The other reason why I like Jasper is the privacy component. Remember earlier I said as you're kind of getting up to speed, you really need to understand how do these tools use your data, and be careful with what you share with some of these open platforms that are out there. Well, the nice thing about Jasper is it protects your data. So you can go in there and put information in there and not have it end up in some of these open platforms. And so if you're concerned about data privacy and security like that, Jasper is a great way to go. And we are at Vindy Digital, actually talking to Jasper right now about becoming a partner with them because we're very interested. We believe that our customers are going to care about those things. So anyways, if you're looking for a way to really not have to have long seasoning prompts, Jasper might be a good solution for you. Now, we have a template where we've created our own seasoning documents, and you can see there on the left side, we've got things like our voice for the different components, website, blog, even my social content. We've got our brand voice, our USP, all those things are documented in this Google Doc. And I was thinking about getting ready for today. I'm like, you know what? I bet you guys could benefit from that too. And so I converted it into a template. And so if you go to the AI Toolkit again and just click on Seasoning Documents, it will actually take you to this page. And then you can click on that and it'll take you to a Google Doc, which is a template. It's not the one that I just showed you that's got all our information. That's been cleared out, but it's basically a template. And you'll have to make a copy of it and use it for yourself because everybody's going to go to that same document, and it's protected so that you can't add data to it. But if you copy it, then you can use it for yourself. And you get that obviously at vindydigital.com/go, and give that a try because you're going to need it, even as some of these use cases I'm going to share with you here in a little bit. So if you don't want to do that, another great place to learn how to season AI is just look at style guides. And I just wanted to highlight MailChimp's style guide because they've done a really great job, and it's public facing. So if you just Google MailChimp style guide, you'll come to this page, and you can see over on the left, there's a lot of information there on how companies and freelancers and people that are involved in working with MailChimp can actually use their brand. And so if you're looking for building a style guide for your business, this is a great example that you can check out on your own. Okay, and just, we talked about prompt engineering. So just a reminder, we have this great guide that's going to help you get through that process. So once you've got your seasoning documents in place and you're ready to go write a prompt, you're going to have everything you need. Just follow the instructions that are in the prompt engineering guide. Okay, so let's get into some quick wins. I wanted to give you some foundational things. Now let's actually talk about how do we put AI to use to get some real value out of our business. And so one of the first quick wins, and I kind of hinted at this a little bit earlier, is to give our content a facelift. I think that's a huge opportunity because, I've worked with hundreds of B2B companies for many, many years, literally decades. And I know that one thing the B2B marketing departments do a lot is they focus on some great pillar content, foundational content, white papers, case studies, all this stuff that's just so locked up. Demo slides, all pitch decks, all that stuff has got great information, and we can just give some of that content a facelift and get it out on our website. It can have tremendous value to your business. And so, before we get too far into that, let me just ask a quick question to keep this chatting going on and this engagement going on while you're watching me talk today. Let us know what content is performing best for you right now. What content are you shipping out the door that your customers love? Is it white papers? Is it case studies? Is it blogs? Is it social content? Let us know, because there might be people that are joining us today that maybe haven't thought about some of the ideas that are working for you. So chat that up and let Andrea know and the rest of the team know what content you like to build the most. Okay, so why do I like giving content a facelift? Well, literally, there's a great case study on it, and it's from HubSpot. Now, when we think about HubSpot, we think about they invented the term inbound, and man, they are by far the biggest content marketers out there and really own and dominate content marketing. They crank out so much content, it's dizzying, right? It's so much. But not too long ago, somebody took a step back over at HubSpot and said, hey, rather than create as much content as we're creating, what if we took a step back, created a little bit less content, and went to some of our older content and tried to give it a facelift? And the reason why they decided to do that is they did this report. You can see right here on the slide that only 8% of their leads at the time they did this study were coming from new content they had just shipped out the door, but 92% of their leads were coming from content that they'd shipped in the past, right? And the same with traffic. So when they brought on brand new traffic or the newest traffic, it was only generating 24% of their traffic, but 76% of their traffic, and that makes total sense, was coming from some of the older content they had out there. And so they decided, let's take some of our cycles and let's go focus on updating and refreshing some of this older content. Let's personalize it for different industries. Let's repurpose it. Let's do what we can to really get the maximum value out of this great content that we've produced in the past. Check out the results. So over here on the left, you can see that their conversion rate went up 240% by just updating old content. And their traffic increased huge, over 100% increase in organic traffic and 2x the number of leads. And so if you're looking for a quick win with AI, this is a great place to do it. Go look for that older content. I can show you ways even on our one-on-one session, or I'll probably talk about this more in the jam session in November, on how to use data and how to actually upload like GA4 data or position report data into some of these AI tools and have it tell you what content would be the best content for you to do that with. So that's absolutely a great quick win. Which leads right into the next quick win, which is data analysis. If you remember early on in the presentation, I showed you the results of that poll that I did a couple of weeks ago, and not very many marketers are really leveraging AI for data analysis. And man, it's a wonderful tool for that and something we absolutely need to think about. One thing I say to clients all the time and prospects, I don't know if they like me to say it, but the reality is at the end of the day, marketing is ultimately making educated guesses, right? That's really what we're doing, right? We take everything that we know about the customer and everything that we know about our business, and we mash those things together and we make an educated guess on what's going to resonate with them. And then we get it out into market and we hope that it works and we try to learn from that, right? So it's really ultimately about making educated guesses. And the key point is AI can make infinitely better and more educated guesses than any human ever could, right? It can consume more data. It can find patterns that we would never find. It can grasp actionable insights that we just don't have the human capacity to do. It can even predict customer behavior. So we really want to invite AI to the data analysis party. Some ideas to consider there would be, extracting key trends from performance data. I'm going to actually show you how to do that in a second. Compare your data against industry benchmarks. Man, this is a huge one. I get customers and B2B companies asking me all the time, hey, what are the latest benchmarks on this? What are the latest benchmarks on that? There's lots of great benchmark data out there. How cool would it be to create a seasoning document with the latest trends and then using AI to analyze your environment against those trends and show you the things where you're killing it and show you the things that need improvement. And that helps you really manage by exception, doesn't it? So we really need to invite AI to the party. And then finally, the last one there, suggest content based on keyword research, things like that. Let me show you how to put this to work. So I'm going to walk you through how to generate an AI-driven content plan. First, you need a persona. So that's part of your seasoning documents, right? You also need some GA4 data, just basically information about the people that are visiting your site, the pages that they're visiting. You also want a position report, an SEO position report. And then your current key phrases and positions are really part of that position report. And then finally, the prompt right out of our AI toolkit. I'm going to show you where to get that. So you go to the toolkit, you click on prompts and examples, you go to the prompt library, and then you go to the data-driven content strategy. What I'm going to show you at a high level, that will go into way more detail. But what's really cool, if you follow the directions there, is that you can upload this information into AI. And this is the amazing part. You can upload multiple data sets. So imagine you're uploading GA4 data. You're also uploading like SEMrush position report data, right? And you upload both at the same time and you say, hey, AI, analyze this data and give me some useful information back. This particular prompt basically went in and compared for us at Vendy Digital, all of our organic positions for the keywords that we're going after, all of the content that's on our website, and then it mashed all that together and gave us topic clusters. And it said, hey, for all of your content that you've got and all the keywords that matter to you, it found the most popular content clusters. It gave me the total number of sessions. You can see that, engagement rate, total conversions, even average position. So I love that because it's mashing multiple data together and giving me one really good output. So one of the things that's really cool is it identified gaps. You can see right here there were 4 areas that it came back to me and said, hey, not only here are your content clusters, but here's 4 areas that you need to write more content about. And then the next thing I did was add in a persona and then grabbed the second part of that prompt. And I basically said, go build me a 12-month content plan with 2 blogs a month. Give me a suggested topic, give me the key phrase, give me a featured Q&A snippet, and give me some EAT, which stands for experience, expertise, authority, and trust, instructions for the writer. And so, boom, in 30 seconds, I literally had a 12-month content plan I could have handed off to my content team, and I absolutely have. Okay, so that's one use case. I want to give you another one, which is a data-driven persona development. And so the reason why this is so important, and we touched on this a little bit earlier, is that, it's not content that's king anymore, it's context that's king, right? So content has always been king, but now what people want is content that feels like it was made just for them. And so in order to do a data-driven persona, what we need is voice of the customer information. I'll explain what that is in a second. We need the right prompt, which is right here. And again, it's in the toolkit. You can go grab that. But let's talk about step 1, voice of the customer. Voice of the customer can come from a lot of places. You can do customer interviews. You can get gong calls or listen to transcripts of sales calls. What I did for this experiment is I just went out to review data. And so I grabbed review data. I even went to competitor review data, and I built a table that has all this information about why B2B marketers choose digital agencies, and I dumped it all in a spreadsheet. And then I uploaded that into an AI tool and plugged in the prompt, and you would be amazed at the information that I got back in terms of what they're trying to accomplish, what their challenges are, what's keeping them up at night. It just blew my mind with all the different information about my persona. It really gave me great insights that I couldn't have gotten on my own by just simply looking at this voice of the customer information and then me telling it a little bit in a prompt who I'm trying to reach. And I just was blown away by all the great information that I got out of it. So I'm just kind of highlighting some of this. It's in the slides, but for the sake of time, I'm going to move on a little bit. But you can see, what are their values? Data-driven marketing approaches. transparent communication, their pain points, lead generation is plateauing, struggling to curate enough content. These are all examples of things that I learned. And the output, we just looked at the output pretty quickly. I copied and pasted that output into our seasoning document template. And so now we have this persona. In fact, AI named it for me. They named it Samantha. And so now we have this SaaS persona named Samantha that I can use in seasoning AI in the future. But are you ready to get your mind blown? This blew my mind. I mean, that already was kind of mind-blowing, but I literally copied and pasted the information that I got out of AI that was the information on this persona that we worked on and built together. And I literally went over to beautiful.ai, and they allow you can generate slide presentations with AI by just, generative AI, putting a prompt in there. I literally just pasted the whole thing, the whole Samantha persona, and I clicked go. I had no idea what I was going to get back. This is what I got back. It literally put a face on Samantha. It created an entire slide deck of this persona that I can now share with my team. I can show to leadership. If, as an agency, we might do something like this and share it with our clients. I just couldn't believe it. Okay, so again, we're going to talk way more and do a deep dive on lots of other use cases on November the 15th, but I wanted to show you a couple more here before we wrap. One is this competitive landing page analysis. Again, you can go grab this prompt out of the prompt library, but a lot of times in our business, we're always wanting to see, how does our landing page stack up to one of our competitors? Or as you might imagine, our clients are asking us to do that all the time. And so I built a prompt. You can grab it in the prompt library that will basically go analyze your landing page and your competitor's landing page through the lens of your persona and the information requirements of the persona. That's why I showed you how to do a persona first, and we talked about seasoning, because none of this stuff works if you don't have really good persona information to season AI with first. But once you have that, then you can go and do things like, hey, here's my landing page, here's 2 other competitors, tell me which one Samantha's going to like best. And you can see it gives you wonderful output right out of the system. I mentioned how fast this stuff's moving. I actually had to add this slide this week because, ChatGPT 4 now allows you to add images, and it analyzes images as part of its capabilities. And so I wanted to see what could it do with a screenshot. So I literally went in, threw a screenshot of one of our landing pages, put some competitor screenshots up, and you can see, and then we've got a great little resource on our website called a UX checklist. I literally threw that in there too. So I said, here's a screenshot of our landing page and 2 other competitors. I uploaded our UX checklist, and I said, go analyze these 3 websites or 3 web pages, the images of these pages, look at our UX checklist and tell me which one has the best usability. And you can see it created this beautiful output for me to really go see, number one, hey, Vendy Digital's kind of killing it. And then 2, here's where our competitors really aren't doing as good of a job. Okay, so I know I fire hosed you today. If you enjoyed some of these use cases and want to see some of these done live and deep dive on even more use cases, please join us on November the 15th for our Demand Gen Jam session. That's what we're going to be doing for an hour. We're just going to be going through how do we roll up our sleeves and really do some cool stuff with AI. Some of the personas that didn't make this cut, and one of the reasons why we're doing the November 15th session is literally we've got all these already built out. I just didn't have time. I arm wrestled with Ryan, one of the guys in our office last night, on what was going to make the final cut today. But we've got all this stuff ready to go. Please come back on November the 15th and join us for the jam session. We'll go into these, and I think we'll have a lot of fun. And who knows, that's over a month from now. The whole world may change as fast as this stuff is moving between today and tomorrow, or not tomorrow, but a month from now. And I promise you, we'll stay up to date. Any new cool stuff, we'll definitely share with you on November the 15th. So I hope that's been really useful to you. I'm just going to kind of go back to the very beginning, and what we talked about, our goal today was really to help you understand that to AI enable your marketing department, it's not just having the right tool, it's having the right tool, right? It's also, that's like the ship, if you will, but it's having the right crew. That includes you and your team and making sure they're equipped and skilled to mine and get the most value out of the tool. But it's also having documents like prompts and resources and things that you'll be able to use and train up across your enterprise that's really going to help you take it to the next level. So the goal is, let's not just keep playing with ChatGPT and some of the generative AI tools, but let's really figure out how do we get AI enabled in our business so we can unlock it the way that the internet really unlocked our businesses 20 plus years ago. So hopefully that was good, useful information to you. What I want to do now is basically transition into the Q&A session. And so hopefully as I've gone through this today, you've been asking good questions and Andrea's teeing those up. I mentioned at the beginning, we also have some questions that you guys sent to me before today's event that I'm going to go through to kind of get the water flowing, if you will. I'm going to take a sip real quick. And we'll get your questions answered. So, okay, so here's the very first question that came through. And that is, how do we integrate AI with our existing marketing stack and workflows? It's a really good question. And, you know, the easiest way to answer that question would be to actually go back to one of the recommendations I had in the presentation, and that is start with your stack. So the very first thing I would do, if you're concerned about getting AI working inside of your stack, is just go and look at whatever stack you have and ask your vendors or go look for announcements around what are they doing with AI, because if you can use something that's native inside of the stack, I think that's a good starting point. And then also go look at, you know, who are the integration partners of your primary core tools in your stack, and just see what they're doing with AI, because there might be really cool integrations that you can do there. And so that would be what I would say would be a good starting point. Another thing that you can do is go back to your go-to-market strategy. You know, I shared with you that map of our demand gen framework that had the 4 pillars. And so you could go take a look at, you know, what is our go-to-market? How do we plan? How do we activate our audience, et cetera? And how can we invite AI to the party to help us do a better job at these things, create scale, get things done faster, whatever the case may be. Okay, so the next question, how do you prioritize what tools to use? Another good question, and one of the things that I would recommend, it really depends on where you are in your maturity level. So if you're just getting started and you're just thinking about AI, my number one recommendation is go buy ChatGPT Plus, which is their $20 a month tool that gives you access to ChatGPT 4 and all the cool stuff like uploading images, uploading files, all that good stuff. And like I said earlier, just invite it to everything that you're doing. I wouldn't try to enable anything in marketing yet. You just need to get up under it and understand what it does, how to use it, and how it uses your data. Remember those 3 questions from earlier. That's what I would do to prioritize what tools to start using. Okay, next question. What are some common pitfalls when it comes to leveraging AI? Man, I touched on a big one, and I want to come back to it earlier, and that is you cannot use AI to generate output without prompting it the right way. So if you go in and you just ask it to create a generic blog, guess what? It's going to create a generic blog. And the reason why that's a pitfall is if you're spinning up content using AI because, oh my gosh, I can create 1,000 blogs a week, like I said earlier, instead of 1, you're actually going to hurt your business, not help your business. You know, I saw a post on LinkedIn the other day. I can't even remember who it was, but they were talking about how they grew their SEO traffic by, 100% or something like that by spinning up AI content, and they were bragging about it. And I was thinking to myself, oh my gosh, that is absolutely not the right way to grow your SEO traffic because, yeah, maybe it works for Google for a short term. I promise you they're going to sniff that stuff out. But man, think about your customers that are going to read that generic, boring content. So definitely don't do that. The other thing is never ship anything without getting human eyes on it. I'll give you a great example. I use AI a lot in my social content, but I will tell you what I've been doing, and I'm going to show this in our November jam session, is I'm taking some posts that I wrote a year or 2 ago that were really, really popular, and I'm using AI to change the tone on it. So, maybe it was a how-to post, and I'm changing it to, an old school versus new school post. And I'll show you how to do that next month. But there's smart ways to use AI to produce new content. Don't expect AI to be the entire copywriter for your business. That's a bad idea. Okay, so before I jump over to your questions, I do want to just kind of land the plane on where we are today. We're landing the plane on part 1. So I kind of gave you a fire hose today, but I pointed you to some really good resources that are going to help you, get on top of this stuff pretty quickly. And I think I gave you some good information to start thinking about, AI enablement isn't just a tool. It isn't just playing with ChatGPT. It's actually thinking about the tool, the people, and the processes if you're going to be successful. So I want you to think about that. start playing with these tools. Okay, that's really the next step. Go over to vendidigital.com/go, start playing with those tools. And then if you're really interested in having a one-on-one session with me, you can do that by going to that same webpage. I've got 10 slots set aside for the next 2 weeks, so you might want to do that pretty quickly because those are going to fill up really fast. I'm sure that once we get through the next 2 weeks, my schedule's just really tight right now, that I'll be able to open up some more time slots. But if you really are interested in applying this stuff to your business now, I would jump on there today because I don't have a ton of availability. And then be sure to come on November the 15th, and we'll have a lot of fun. By the way, those aren't shot in a studio like this. This is really just a Zoom call. It's very casual. For those of you that attend those, maybe you could just even chat in so the rest of the audience knows what to expect. But we have a lot of fun. They're very informative and a lot of fun. So I hope you can join us for that. Okay, so Andrea, what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump over, if I can do this right. I am technically challenged from time to time. And see if I can get to chat. So far, so good. And now, see if I can get to any of the questions that you guys might ask. So, okay, I see one. I'm just going to hit it from the bottom here. That may not be the best way to go, but I'm going to do that. So, Carrie, thanks for your question. She asked for examples for building new websites. Carrie, there's a lot of tools out there that are using generative AI to build websites. In fact, HubSpot's got some features built into their tool. There's landing page builders out there. They're really good starting points. But again, it all starts with, I don't know that we actually have a tool in the toolkit. I was just thinking about that. I may actually go look for some, Carrie, just for you and upload them into the toolkit. So that you've got some that are out there. But, definitely go check out some of the landing page vendors that are out there, HubSpot being one, Unbounce being another. See what kind of tools they're making available. But just like I said earlier, I don't know that I would really expect an AI tool, at least in today's world, to be able to generate a website. It might be able to get me moving in the right direction, but it's going to take some human effort to get it across the finish line. All right, so next we've got which AR tool? Those are, I think those were your questions that you asked, Andrea. Okay. A lot of people saying thank you. I know we're right at the time. All right. It doesn't look like I see any questions. Again, I'm a little technically challenged and a little blind at the same time. We're right at the top or the bottom of the hour, so I think this is probably a really good time to wrap up. If I didn't see your question and you have one, feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn, shoot me an email, schedule a planning session. My goal is to really help you get this stuff enabled because going very back to the presentation when I talked about, I was here when the internet became a thing in business. And I could see it was going to change the world. And I wanted to help B2B companies take advantage of that. And somebody that's been in this business for 23 years, please listen to me when I say AI is going to be as big or bigger than the internet. We don't want to stick our head in the sand. What we want to do is figure out what are the tools we're going to use, how do we get our team trained up and ready to go so that they can extract the value out of it, and then what are the processes that we're going to leverage to get this thing across our enterprise. That's what you need to be thinking about right now. If you're not getting success from AI, it's probably because you're just playing with the tool and not thinking about how to get it truly implemented in your business. And with that, I'm going to say thank you for your time. I really appreciate you joining us today and look forward to seeing you guys on November the 15th for our Demand Gen Jam session. Take care, everybody.